Okay, so it's goodbye after this.
Josh, good job.
Goodbye.
Ukraine. Minions support Ukraine.
Current and relevant.
Welcome to the final episode of the first season of Press Play. What's so funny? What's so funny?
I don't know, man.
What do you think? You think it's funny that we're closing out? Are you crying tears of joy that we've like created such good content?
I am crying tears of something else, and me crying is kind of spicy. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, you kind of sound a little choked up. Is something going on there?
Yeah. Well,
you eat something?
I didn't. I ate a ton of stuff and drank a ton of stuff.
Really?
And now it's in my belly.
What'd you eat?
I mean, we can find that out when we look into our next segment, which is Flaming Hot Takes.
Flaming Hot Takes.
New segment, only probably going to happen this one time.
It's only going to happen this one time
We should
because
probably let
the
this-
results of which, it's like the atomic bomb, like the effects of which were so strong that they decided to never do it ever again.
Yeah, wait, what's Oppenheimer's quote? He's like,
I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Flaming Hot Takes.
Yeah. Hey, so like Lego Skywalker Saga, the Star Wars game, was released on this date right here. I'm gonna put it in the segment. Really cool, right? Really pretty cool. Over 300 characters, 7 hub worlds, 1,166 Kyber bricks. So you know the game is gonna be very long, and that's pretty cool too. However, I have some. I've been playing this game since its initial release, and I have developed some pretty interesting hot takes regarding this game. And to top it off, for my hot takes, I will be eating hot food that we have deemed spicy. Let's get that ready just in case. So, let's just do it. It tastes so bad. I think Lego Qui-Gon Jinn is better than the live action one. And I think that because Lego Qui-Gon Jinn is really good at being a meme. And you know, it's just funny, you see the TikToks of Lego Qui-Gon Jinn. I don't know much about live action Qui-Gon Jinn, but that's pretty cool. The Force Awakens is my least favorite story level in the sequel game level things. What are they called? I say this because it feels very short and very disgusting, and it's just very short. Hot take 3. It's getting a little hot. Hot take 3 is that I'm okay with the game not having online multiplayer, because I don't have friends who have this game, so I just like playing by myself. And it's hard to think when all your mouth is fire. But yeah, hot take number 4, because I need to get moving because I'm actually kind of hurting a little bit. The fact that there is no character customization is fine with me. There's over 300 characters. That's plenty of characters. The only character in the game that I really care about is Rebel Friend. He wears a red shirt and a black jacket, and that's okay. The fact that the flying in the Lego game is better than Battlefront 2. It's easier to control. Yeah, so it's easier to control. Can I have a trash can? These tamales aren't gonna go down. Thank you. So I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. But the flying's better than in Battlefront 2. I don't know if any of you have played Battlefront 2. But oh, it's actually going away. Look at that. The little Easter eggs in the game add way more to the story than the actual movies did. I played a mission. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of R2KT. It's about that girl who had like cancer or something and died, and they named a droid after her, and they showed it in The Force Awakens. Sorry. But yeah, they have her in the game, and they have their own like little specific mission with the girl in the game. It's pretty cool. And oh my, some of that Mountain Dew just came up on me. The jokes also add more to the story better than the movies do. When I quit out A New Hope, like right after Ben Kenobi died, I loaded back up and they like do the title cutscenes. The title cutscenes, and they like update it to where you're at in the story. So literally, basically, it was just like, oh, Ben Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker finally met again. He's like, unfortunately, Ben Kenobi did not have the high ground this time and tragically died. What a shame. The Battle of Exegol is the best level in most episodes. I say this because you get to fly in it, you get to be the ground forces. You know, and you get to do the lightsaber thing. It's the best of all three. I just spit everywhere. It's the best of all three. I just did it again. It's really cool. Plus the fact in the lightsaber duel, you get to switch between Rey and Kylo Ren. Excuse me. That was from the Carbon. The levels that involve battles: Hoth, Exegol, Endor, Utapau, as I look at Nolan Peters, could have been so much more than what they are. The levels are short as hell. They suck. I wish I could have been a ground force on Hoth, but no, that's lame. Why not just be the Snowspeeder? Snowspeeder's not gonna satisfy my gamer brain. But it could have been so much more. Why is the Endor mission literally doesn't have a space battle? The Endor mission doesn't have a space battle. Why doesn't it have a space battle? Don't look. Don't look at me and laugh because I'm eating peppers and you're not. Luke Skywalker has like 8 different costumes, which is understandable. He's 2 different characters with like several different costumes. That's like 20 characters technically. Why the does Luke Skywalker have like 20 different costumes? I don't care that he's the main character. I want less costumes. Why is Darkside Rey and normal Rey different? Why is the voice actor for normal or Darkside Rey suck? They're just like, oh, I'm Rey, I'm dark now. Can't do anything about it. Hiss. Who hisses in the dark side? This isn't Harry Potter. This is Star Wars. That's all. I didn't write an ending for this. I already chugged my 1 Mountain Dew. Bring it in. No, wrong side, no. Goodbye. Just kidding, we can't litter on the studio.
That's like not good for you, dude. That's like.
I don't think that segment was good for me. Imagine.
No, it was like that.
My nose is still running.
You should go. You better go catch it.
Dr. Carl, what do you think?
Are we just gonna like dub in something over top of that?
We should. I wasn't thinking that, but we should
dub in something over top of it.
You have colon cancer, and I'm just like, ah.
caused by your excessive eating of spicy things.
Serrano peppers going, oh God, there's the peppers.
You know what I think is silly about this photo?
What?
The fact that Darth Maul, like, in order to make the horns, they stick like an extra piece on top of his head, which makes it just look like he has a stupid tall head. Whatever.
I have a stupid tall head though, so I can't really feel empathy for it. Or I can feel empathy for it.
You know what I know? You know what I know?
What?
Not what's coming up next.
Yeah, I mean, oh boy, what is it?
I don't
No,
know.
like seriously, what is it?
It's probably like a number of things that like
could
fell
be-
through,
it
like
could
a
be-
bunch of plans that like I failed to make in a timely manner.
Press play lost episode?
It could be.
Lost
I don't know.
segment?
This is what our show has always been at its core. Even press start was like this.
Oh yeah, no, it was, but that's what makes us
I
special,
have no
right?
remorse,
That's
of
what
course.
makes us special.
So let's check
we're
out what it
special.
was.
Yeah.
When I was 12 years old, I was strolling around the local Family Video when they still had those things, looking for a movie to watch with my dad on a Friday night. It was typically a lengthy process unless something came up which caught our eyes immediately. And as luck would have it that night, my dad picked up a movie with a cover of a painted swordsman hoisting a blade above a cliff titled Conan the Barbarian. As a kid, I had a short attention span, but this movie held it from minute one. Normally, I'd slip away about an hour into the movie to play Club Penguin or something like that, or like my PlayStation, but I was enraptured immediately by this fantasy world. It felt like I was watching a legend unfurl before my eyes. After that night, I'd go out to Barnes & Noble, the bookish kid that I was, and bought a collected works of Conan the Barbarian as written by Robert E. Howard. Fortunately for me, the books were just as good, if not better, than the movie, all accompanied by fantastic illustrations that washed over my imagination. For a time, it was an obsession. I went through the same phase with H.P. Lovecraft about the same time that the name was becoming popular again in media and video games. The same didn't happen with Conan. It felt like I was the only one who knew the name for a while. Wouldn't learn until later just how integral this character was to the foundations of fantasy, movies, comics, and games. Let's start off with the author, Robert E. Howard. Robert Howard became popular about the same time that Lovecraft did, in about the 1920s and 30s. They wrote for the same pulp fiction magazines, wrote the same genre, and were both considered outsiders, existing outside of the highbrow literature. Unlike Lovecraft, Howard would enjoy a modicum of success in his time. Unlike Lovecraft, his works weren't from the modern era, nor were they about the era of chivalry with knights and princesses, nor cowboys and bounty hunters. No, this was an age undreamed of, untouched by modern fiction. This was the time between when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius. This was the Iron Age, a time before known history. Originally, Howard created the character King Kull, an exile fated to become king of Atlantis. These stories were more introspective, but introduced a hallmark of Howard's writing: moral ambiguity. King Kull wasn't some kind of benevolent philosopher king. While still a good person, he wasn't afraid to crack some skulls when the time came. Tens of thousands of years after him and the collapse of Atlantis, the kingdoms of man are thrown into anarchy. We devolve into a near-primitive society, roaming tribes wandering the earth, just barely creeping out of the Stone Age. Unto this, Howard wrote a vivid essay detailing the world, the Hyborian Age, with nations and countries analogous to real-world places, but still something else. Places like Afghanistan, Khitan, Stygia. Howard created these so that he could freely write about their histories without having to worry about adhering to historical accuracy. While he loved history, it could often constrict his stories. This was another novel idea he introduced: the world creation. Unto this, Conan, destined to bear the Aquilonian crown. Conan wasn't a conventional hero. No, he didn't go out of his way to save a princess. He'd use one as a literal shield to protect himself from a debt collector. This isn't an exaggeration. He literally does this in the books. He'll save someone to sell them later, and his attitude is necessary to get along in this world. There's danger around every corner. Wizards, unnameable beasts, gods, tribes of semi-human cavemen whose grip on humanity has become arthritic. You get the point. This was the inception of dark fantasy. There's no noble fight here, no villages to save. Only things to steal, people to conquer, and adventure above all else. Conan would hire himself out as a mercenary and win untold spoils only to gamble, drink, and spend it all away within the month. With Howard's relationship to Lovecraft, there's certainly some influence of his in these old books and stories. Strange cosmic beasts summoned from the stars, unknowable things, forbidden knowledge, tentacled gods from the deep. This included Lovecraftian influence while the man was still alive and with his actual literal input. It was the birth of sword and sorcery, might and magic, Dungeons and Dragons, barbarians and curses. It's hard to understate how novel and inspirational these works were. Howard would pass away in the 40s, but his ideas would continue. In the early 70s, Marvel began to adapt the world of Conan to the comic strip. These comics were illustrated beautifully, featuring many different artists, including Frank Frazetta. I mean, just look at these comics. These things are still amazing. Incredible action and adventure awaited those who picked up these comics that ran in the 90s. An incredibly successful run for a comic book. I mean, he even meets Captain America here. Conan the Anarchist suggests a lawless society. He's the polar opposite of Captain America, and really only on his side by happenstance. Then we get to 1980. Fresh off of Pumping Iron, Arnold Schwarzenegger agrees to star in his first leading role in a non-documentary as Conan the Barbarian. This is the movie I mentioned about 5 minutes ago, and this movie kicked ass. The title sequence alone is enough to get you ready to smash through a brick wall. While the plot and acting aren't particularly stellar, and there are some holes here and there, the aesthetics of this thing were just off the chart. The costumes, the set design, the locations, incredible. It completely sold the land of Hyboria as a lawless place of danger, filled with gladiators and witches, snakes and sorcerers. Thanks to incredible art direction, this thing has an incredibly original look. The snake towers, the towns and mountains look incredibly authentic. Even the camel Conan punches. And those dogs literally almost killed Arnold during the filming. Dude wasn't acting here. And the music, oh my God, the music. Basil Palladores absolutely knocked it out of the park. Riders of Doom, Riddles of Steel is an incredible piece that would fit in Wagner's operas, besides sounding like amazing metal albums. And everything in this movie is just a metal album cover waiting to happen. Just take a freeze frame, up the contrast, and put a black and white filter over it, and there you go. The director and writers really worked together here. They limited the dialogue and let the actions and visuals do the talking, except with Mako. You know Mako, I know you do, the voice actor of Aku in Samurai Jack. He's here as Conan's chronicler and narrator. The movie was well enough received to get a sequel, but it doesn't compare to the original. The visuals are still there and incredible, but the plot and dialogue just added up to become a little too much for me. If you like schlocky fun, this is it. In peak B-movie form, with AAA movie production. Conan would continue in comic form until the 2000s, where Dark Horse would acquire it and begin adapting Howard's written work, bringing it full circle, until it was reacquired by Marvel and has begun running again. I feel like Conan really is at its strongest as a comic. It was made for illustration and episodic, monster of the week style writing. And don't forget about Red Sonja. Red Sonja began as a side comic in the 1970s run of comics and would appear in the movies until she got her own TV show. Red Sonja featured much of what made Conan great: the visuals, the action, and the world building. Conan's legacy is long-lasting. While it may not be as familiar to many viewers as things like Lovecraft's work, it still has as great as, if not greater than, impact. It really created a genre and style that many things have adapted. The most geeky stuff you can imagine, too. Anything with sword and sorcery, fantasy with a focus on the individual, has its roots in Conan. That includes Dungeons and Dragons, Adventure Time, Dark Souls, Berserk, Samurai Jack. The list goes on. Conan existed as an outlaw both in fiction and in reality. Nobody had really written as rough a character as him, someone who is at times very hard to and sometimes very easy to relate to. He's not a Boy Scout like Superman and Batman were at the time. He wasn't a knight, he had flaws. He was driven by impulse. The cold lone warrior facing off against horrors, all for the love of coin and glory. A true barbarian. In the early 2000s, Adult Swim would commission a pilot for a show titled Conan of Barbarian, a show that parodied Conan and dark fantasy. While it would only go on to be a single episode pilot, it's a great example of where the genre has gone to. Plus, Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, is a main character. What you'll notice is that pretty much every iteration has a new origin for the swordsman. Be it a revenge story, a pirate lifestyle, something else, and he always has a different story that might not line up canonically with others. But it works because the stories feel much more like legends, as they should. Conan is from a time before history, before record. He's as much Gilgamesh as he is Superman, someone whose legend shifts according to who does the telling. It's also remarkably progressive for the 30s, featuring many warrior women who fight as good as Conan, if not better. One is even of dark skin and implied African descent, a remarkable leap for the time to have an interracial relationship for the lead featured so prominently. Basically, I just rewatched the movie from the 80s and wanted to gush about a childhood favorite. But truly, Conan and Robert E. Howard's work has left a legacy that continues to this day. If you get the chance, you should check it out. The games, the comics, the movies. This has been me, and thank you for watching.
Well, whatever that is, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It could have been several things that we've had planned out, sort of.
It totally wasn't an ego trip on my part.
I don't know. I like, what happened?
I don't know. I guess you have to wait to find out.
Yeah, I guess we get to see whenever the episode's actually put out there, and
You
we'll
know-
be able to react to it.
You know who wouldn't have let this happen?
Who?
Like Dorian and Jake.
No, they would have
and-
let it
and
happen.
They probably would have.
They would have let it happen more than we've let it happen.
They probably. It would have been an integral part of their planning procedure. Like I wonder how they would react to watching an episode of this show.
Which is what we did as seniors. We were watching our old.
You're so bad at this. all right, let's react to.
Sick. Hi, besties. You were all leaving me in the matter of like 2 weeks, and I'm very sad about it. So what I did is that I went through last season and this season's episodes and brought out my favorite moments of you guys. They're about like 30 seconds to a minute. You can see them on the screen. You sure can.
Megan.
No. No.
Ask us who we are. Ask us our names.
Who are we?
Ask us our names.
I might as well feed into peer pressure. So, what are y'all's names? They were so hyped to do that. Anyway.
We're the only ones that did it.
Who do we want to start with? Who do we want to start with? No. No. Who do you want to start with? Someone say a name.
No, you say a name.
No. Someone say a name.
Jeff.
All right, sick.
Franklin.
Whoa.
You just said a name. Say a name.
I can't win. I can't win.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
All right, Jeff.
Hang on. Shut up. Hang on. Shut up.
I don't remember this episode.
Is my volume gonna crank up? Is my volume gonna crank up? All right, she is all the way up. All right.
We always remember our first.
So.
Do you want to play like a YouTube video to see if the audio comes out? You just play it real quick, or music.
Oh, no, okay, let's play music. Is that Kirby?
Awkward.
Oh, it's the Flappy Bird.
No, it's Kirby.
That's it? No, it's obviously Jacob, but from the top down.
Up from there, too.
Flappy Bird.
That was your first ever appearance on camera.
Oh, okay.
I'm a taco. I picked it because I like tacos, and
You also
I
want me to
basically
say
just walked
something
into
different. I did.
Goodwill today and just saw this and was like,
Oh, speaking of tacos.
it's like modernized kind of, like it had cars and guns and stuff. It was like a huge action movie, but
But it
Wait.
keeps the original dialogue. They, in the opening scene, I think it's Lord Montague goes goes, "Fetch me my long sword," and pulls a shotgun out of the roof of a car.
Well, come on, who doesn't like cars and guns?
I don't know.
all the time. I do like that whenever he breathed in his whole mask. It's like going out.
Yeah.
You would watch this too.
I also love, I know this is a Jeff quote, but I love Justin quoting something and trying to say, I believe it was, and then perfectly saying the name, because clearly he does it already.
He doesn't want to like,
He doesn't
want to be that guy.
He just had a flex.
Mine was the taco one because when Jeff showed up for tacos, with the taco hat, I went to Goodwill the next day, and they were just like 7 of them sitting there.
Yeah,
It's a fan club.
I didn't know what to go as, so I just went to Goodwill.
It's a good idea.
He got.
It's a good idea.
No, I
Your
keep it simple,
transparency
stupid.
was very nice.
No,
I like tacos, and I saw this.
Keep it simple, stupid, yeah.
Alright, so
Alright.
next one.
Who's the next one?
Next
How about
one?
Josh. Ooh.
Josh.
Josh. Oh, you're claiming it too much. Josh, you're doing news in the clip.
Oh my god.
So is that John
Nice to see
Phillips?
famous celebrities help out
What?
workers' classes. Although I wouldn't trust them, they are plumbers.
I edited that.
Are you trying to say the meatballs aren't meatballs? I'm sure some of them are meatballs, however others may be.
Sick.
Hello, dubiers.
Oh,
Now,
wait.
I already know what you think.
Flack for this.
Aren't you that guy from that one TV show? Well, yes. I'm the fact,
Like a
the
sequel
producer
show.
of Animation Nation.
Are you?
Something to try
No,
out?
he's not. On the same clip.
We're watching 3 different trailers for movies, and we're
Oh, no,
going to
this one's
say
different.
whether or not we think we want to watch the movie. I'm Justin. What's up, I'm Josh. I'm Joe. I was on this game too. Hi. First trailer.
That was adorable.
Yeah, you were just so important. You had to
Huh?
get the camera. He's like, oh, camera.
Who doesn't love Josh?
Yo, let's talk about the real impact of having Josh on Presley.
There was a lot of animation.
What characters?
Can I just say unlockable character, Josh?
Josh, younger Alan brother.
I'm the faster,
smaller version.
How long have you been a part of Press Play and Press Start?
Since I have been here on campus.
So for 4 years.
My full 4 years.
Wow. You're probably the oldest one out of, I don't know.
I'm probably like close to.
I was gonna say you said that as Michael Irvin since
I was on the couch.
Goodness gracious.
Oh my god.
I hate that I also added to the trend of clips.
Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan. I'm very interested in what's in my clip show because I straight up remember nothing. I like the name. I always feel like it's not as funny as I am on other shows.
I was just saying, I love the name of the clip though. Nolan. Period. That's it.
That's all you need.
It's so bold, I mean.
Oh yeah, that whole thing, well, the whole witticism thing where you're improvising the whole time.
Oh, hi. Welcome back to Press Start. Whoop. Just kidding. I took it over. It's mine now.
I looked at that laptop and I was like, oh, that's my laptop.
Gamers only Pictionary. Only gamers are supposed to know about this Pictionary. If it wasn't, if we were just doing like animals or something, I would feel really stupid. This is a gamer exclusive
This is a
Pictionary.
mega edited.
Oh yeah, I can tell. Because there's no transition.
Whoa.
And so we are gathered here to
That's the one I did. That's the one I edited.
Not Robert.
Not Robert Nintendo.
I'm mad that you didn't get the clip of him yelling at Justin.
Oh, that's such low hanging fruit.
Oh,
that's so
so
necessary.
bad.
But that's perfect. I feel so
You weren't
Classic
How many
Robert.
times have we brought that bit up on Press Play? Because we already brought it up this episode.
Some might say memorable enough to be in a clip show of my best moments on the show.
Do you want to fight? Are you not satisfied?
Then again, like this one's all about like last semester and this semester, so.
That's true. That is true. But it was all clips from last
We should make like a super
good
cut
clips.
of all Nolan bits. Every
Everything
segment.
Nolan.
I feel like I'm not as funny on Press Start. I don't know what it is.
We sap your energy. Our charisma just overpowers yours.
Apparently,
Our
yeah.
gamer brains are.
Yeah.
My mind becomes gamer seat when I enter the rooms on Fridays.
I mean, if we really wanted to, we could go back a few seasons just to make fun of Nolan's haircut.
Why? What's wrong with Nolan's
What was
haircut?
wrong with my
It's so short. Since you want to make fun of my lack of funny bits, I'm gonna make fun of your haircut.
Are we talking like freshman year when I had like that kind of bad haircut?
Next up is
Ben. That was a bit. Yeah, you're right. I feel like we gotta say Ben for last. Was the big.
Who next? Gagethan.
Is that really my full name?
Yes.
Gagethan the 58th.
Oh! Comes from a long line of Gagethan.
Gagethan the Great.
Also, I think the actor is dead.
This is the best
pictures they have of him in the direct is all in black and white. And they have Mario.
I'm sorry, it's so powerful.
So I think maybe his last words were Mario, and maybe he just cast him in the role because he was a big fan and they wanted condolences to the family. I'm all for being nice, but who's going to play Mario is he's dead.
Pretty sure those are. No, it's totally like cherries at all.
The gum is meant to be enjoyed over like an hour. So you're supposed to like pick the gumball up, eat the gumball for like an hour, and then get into the cake. And there's like multiple gumballs, so like you have to eat a gumball for each slice. That's just stupid.
What was the last part? She's from Eastern PA.
Oh god, Ben was
No idea what it is.
Yeah.
I apologize for mansplaining fries.
I like how that last part had like no context to it. So like it's like really confusing. Yeah, what are we talking about?
Bad place last semester.
We could have had a podcast that was talking about video game food. That was fun.
My favorite part about that was getting on because it was actually enjoyable to me.
I do think that interesting gamer, that specific interesting game was like the best one that
I love all of them so much. Because the line between what is just you messing up and what is you in character is so blurred and it works.
It's all one take.
It's all just one take.
Actually, the one thing when he I think when you were doing
Like just
civilization.
Or Europa.
Yes.
You got really serious and then you went right back to the character.
That's my absolute favorite bit.
Condolences, like I do not know if you were legitimately like blanking on the word or if you were doing a bit, and I love that.
Yeah, that's the mystery.
Although that kind of reminds me of like.
I guess our
I am
audience
sitting the
will never
same
know.
way in that clip as I am right now. Kind of feeling it. There we go. That is literally the pose.
This knee's just gotta be a little.
That's
not on the camera. It doesn't matter.
That's
Mike.
Of
course, trying to make fun of myself.
Oh, I see the spooky Halloween.
Technically, 8 pages probably isn't because I don't think it
Oh.
actually costs anything to get it. Yeah, I think 8 pages is
This is
also
the one where JJ kept blowing my cover.
Did I edit this?
Okay.
Okay.
Amnesia and a machine for pigs would probably be on there because like that was big with YouTube when it were first released. That's true. I'm wondering about Outlast. Whoa, take a trip. This ain't no ordinary.
These dance movements.
The fattest place to be. So get
That was the Jet Radio.
Tokyo Toad.
Whoa.
Halloween.
Again with the Halloween episode.
That was a good one.
Well, wouldn't you say that was a very deadly event?
Yeah, she got so scared.
Speak of the
Among Us is in the corner.
Oh, you didn't use the clip where he got killed? Come on! Man, you made a bad clip. No, I'm kidding. Like, you made, yeah, like literally.
We're here to roast you guys, not here to roast me, alright?
No, we're all
Picked
trying
two
to
tame
sit
clips
Is
to
this
roast
roast?
it.
This has been very friendly.
Was that supposed to bring the heat?
We always find ways to roast Megan.
Yeah, this has been a family reunion rather than a roast.
Why'd you tell him it was a roast whenever my clip's next?
Oh, you ready for this one?
I'm gonna go
You ready for this one?
Well, that's what she said.
Then you're done.
I'm
You're
dead.
done.
I'm
You're
dead.
done.
You're done. You're done.
These are your last moments, Ben.
You're done.
You're done.
Vector from Despicable Me. He wears an orange tracksuit. Pause. Joshua
Why aren't you silencing your phone during filming? I just
Oh my god! Was he my parent? No, look at that.
Smash Bros is a fighting game.
This is still
Is this the same segment?
About
It's a good segment. Shut up.
Google search.
Shout out to 40 ounces of freedom.
He's not looking at the camera.
Top 10 characters.
If you look really closely in that face, you can see a bug.
Why are they all these question marks saying?
It's such a good segment.
From Ben.
Oh my god.
Goodwill Loki, you know, from the TV show Goodwill Loki. I picked this costume because I was forced into it.
Yeah, that just should be the end of the segment.
Never forget that.
Yep.
Never forget.
Never forget that. No.
You hear that,
Where is
folks
it?
out there?
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Never forget.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? For this bit right here, he never told me it was gonna be a 2-shot, so I didn't know what was happening in the booth.
I love that.
Hey, it looks like he's about to like run for president and be like,
Half of it is him just looking at the camera and then looking away, looking like he's telling someone else his top 10 list, and then coming back being like, number 3.
I looked like an American revolutionary patriot last semester, dude.
Well, you got the hat. You look
and you have the shirt about freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom.
That's all I remember.
That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah.
I'm sad about it.
Alright, everybody get up and say your least favorite thing about everybody here.
Okay.
Man,
Oh.
her glasses
Ooh.
are Josh.
Shut up, shut up, shut up. That's the thing I'm sensitive about.
Peters never comes to film.
Oh.
Yeah, that's been the one filming this semester.
Oh. We got the receipts and everything.
You smell, you stink, you reek, you.
I mean, I think we can all agree I've made the biggest mark of this year, right?
I remember clapping twice this semester, so I think I was here twice.
Josh Allen plugs Animation Nation whenever he can.
You're darn right. Go watch Animation Nation.
You're not wrong. We were here first. And like.
We bring back Dr. Carl. Dr. Carl says you are dead. Oh, we're just going into it?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're just going into it.
All right, cool. You know I don't like cutting the clapping, right? I don't know when to cut at the clapping, so please, I won't know when to cut here.
Give him a break, dude. Like,
break?
he's been editing this for so long.
Yeah.
Can you just give him a...
I thought you weren't defending me
Frickin'
there for a
break.
second.
No, I have your back. You're my brother in arms.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've been through thick and thin. Back whenever this was press...
Start?
You can't say that on TV.
I'll censor it.
But yeah, no, you're my comrade. It's as a comrade, we need to remember those who we've lost along the way.
Oh yeah, like the fact that we're losing, and there's several others of us losing. JJ talked about that.
Yeah, can we see what it... Yeah, I think he said some pretty nice...
Yeah,
This is like, have you ever wanted to go into the future and see what people would say about you at your funeral? This is what this segment is. So thank you, JJ, for that surreal experience.
Yeah, JJ, thank you. So, JJ.
We are gathered here today to mourn the loss of Press Play's fallen soldiers, for they are gone but not forgotten. As we continue to live our lives in peace, in peaceful ignorance of our inevitable futures, there are those who are making their way to the big internship in the sky. And we look upon them and weep, for we are happy for them. They have each left their marks on this great show, and today we commemorate their hard work. When they first stepped in front of the cameras all those years ago, they also stepped into our hearts, and they will continue to game and watch movies in all of our hearts until the day we join them once more. Through the difficult transition between press start to press play, they led us through the darkness and into the light. And now they have left us so that we may lead others as they did. And I know they will always be watching us from the great beyond,
and on YouTube.com. When I first joined the show, back when it was Press Start, I remember meeting a man that was the epitome of a gamer. His fingerless gloves and slouched posture instantly drew me in. I thought, this is the man that will lead me to the promised land. I'd only heard of Benjamin Hodel from the mouths of others, which just speaks to how much of an impact he left on his fellow cast members. He may have been the executive producer of Press Start, but he was also the executive producer of our hearts. It saddens me greatly that I will not be able to receive his guidance as I begin to lead this show myself. But no matter what happens, I know he will be watching over me, smiling. The other person that has made me into the man I am today is Gage Terrace. From my very first filming of Press Start, Gage has been there, keeping everything moving. For although he is not a producer in name, he still managed to help us produce an amazing show. Gage always had a way to lighten up the room, but now that he is gone, everything is dim. I find it hard to imagine a world without Gage as a station manager, but we must move on. And besides, Meg is becoming station manager. But wait, that means she's leaving me too? Oh no. Yeah, I needed that. All right, let's talk about Jeff. What is there to say about Jeff that hasn't already been said? He was a great addition to the Press Play family, and we will all miss his presence. He was a great crew member, a fantastic editor, and a good friend. It saddens me greatly that I must say goodbye to someone I didn't really get the chance to know further. Michael Urbans was a man I had grown quite fond of throughout the time I had known him. He was always there to lend a helping hand, and he was never short on ideas. Whenever I turned around, there he was, holding his bag of toys and games. I honestly don't know what we will do without him. The only way I can describe him is as the backbone of Press Play. Hosting just won't be the same without his props. In fact, I'm worried for the future of hosting with him gone. Nevertheless, we must move on, in more ways than one. Anyway, on to Josh Allen. Oh, Josh Allen. Not only has he left us, but he's also left all of his Animation Nation children. He built that show about cartoons with his bare hands, and now he has left it. I only hope it can continue without him. Someone once said Josh was like Squidward, but now that he's left us, he feels more like Gary in that one episode where he ran away from home. Come home, Josh. Come home. We can't do this without you. We need your stoic demeanor and cool hoodies. I don't know how we'll go on without you. Nolan Peters. Need I say more? Probably not, but I'm going to. That man was my first introduction to IUP TV. Out of everyone that is left, his hurts the most. I would not be the man I am today without Nolan. He may have started out as my producer, but he became so much more. I can still hear his laughter in the back of my head. But as the days pass, it becomes quieter and quieter, and I am reluctant to see the day that it will fade forever. No one peeked the mic like Nolan did. No one's laughter was as contagious as Nolan's was. No one broke onto the set and yelled at Justin during the game show like Nolan did. Simply put, Nolan was one of a kind, and now he is gone. I'll miss you, bud. There are many others that are leaving us, but I cannot make this more than 5 minutes, so I will go over them briefly. Joey Chrisman worked harder than anyone else on IUP TV. As the president of SFA, promotions director of IUP TV, and head producer of The Big Hit, his absence will leave an incredible hole in the foundation of the television station. The other man that has left us is Ian Decker. I'm not sure if he has been on Press Play or Press Start before, but I will mention him anyway, as he is a dear friend of mine. His humor and personality never failed to light up a room, and now that he has left us, the world is ever darker. From his audio expertise to his work as programs director, Ian Decker was a force to be reckoned with. And as I begin to take on the role of programs director in his absence, I only hope to be half the man he was. Now, as I bring this eulogy to a close, I would like to recall a story. One night, I dreamed a dream. As I was walking along the beach with my producers, across the dark sky flashed scenes from my past filmings. For each scene, I noticed 7 sets of footprints in the sand, 1 belonging to me and 6 to my producers. After the last scene of my filmings flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. I noticed that at many times along the path of my filmings, especially at the very lowest and saddest times, there was only 1 set of footprints. This really troubled me so I asked my producers about it. Ben, Nolan, Gage, Ian, Josh, and Joey, you said once I decided to join your shows, you'd walk with me all the way. But I noticed that during the saddest and most troublesome times of my filmings, there was only 1 set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you all the most, they would leave me. They whispered to me in unison, "My precious child, I love you and will never leave you. Never ever during your trials and testings. When you only saw one set of footprints, it was then that we all carried you. I then asked how they all carried me if only one set of footprints were in the sand. And to that they answered, my precious child, we climbed onto each other and walked as one very tall piggyback ride. Now that story I just recalled is just one instance of many that showed the grace of the men that have left us. And now I will leave only one set of footprints for the rest of my life, which frightens me greatly. Without my producers to carry me, I'm not sure I will be able to walk the entire way, but I will do my best. With that, I thank you for attending this ceremony. I only hope I can lead Press Play in a way that will respect these fallen soldiers. See you next season.
Okay.
This is the last time you'll ever do this.
This is the last time we'll ever do this.
Yeah. It's kind of hidden, you know what I mean? It's like a...
Oh yeah, oh my God, yeah.
You know,
I'm just feeling it right now.
It's like the last, like this might be the last time we're ever on television.
Were you a drama club kid in high school?
I was not.
See, I was in that theater stuff. I was stage crew, so I didn't really care as much as the theater kids. But whenever we'd go to cast parties, all the theater kids would just cry. And I'm like, why are you crying?
Yeah, why are you crying?
Like, come on. Like, I know it's sad, but
what are you like?
Dang.
What are you, like a loser or something?
Sorry if any of you in here was a theater kid that cried.
I'm ready to leave. I don't care. I'm not sentimental.
Justin, I'm sorry.
Post-show depression's a real thing.
Yeah, it is. I know. I'm stage crew.
I respect it.
But for real, it's been fantastic experience getting to know everybody. And I hope everybody carries the torch and does a good job ahead of us. And
we're getting really sad.
We're not getting sad. This
we're
is a celebration.
Really sad, yeah.
This is a celebration. So thank you for joining us and watching all of our shows and being there from 4 years ago. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching us. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
We'll see you next year.
Don't you dare start clapping. I gotta say my words. What about my words? What?
It's so final.
That would have been funny if you could just have zoomed in there and I would just been like, what about my words?
No, Ben wanted his words. What does Ben want to say?
Yeah, what do you want?
I was gonna say, thank you for joining us, even though we completely changed the show second semester in and kicked ass doing it.
Hell yeah.
9 episodes.
Thank you all, and good night.
There was more to it, but I forgot. Can I make it? Yeah!